So Mr. Pop Official on X, formerly known as Twitter, said it's being reported that Britney Spears is set to sit down for a television tell-all just prior to the release of her book on October 24th. Bids for the interview are already being thrown out there by TV and streaming platforms, and it's reported that one of those names is Oprah Winfrey. So how do I feel about Britney Spears sitting down with Oprah Winfrey in an interview? Well, the pop culture part of me is very intrigued, and I'm looking forward to this interview. The mental health side of me says, I'm not sure this is a good thing, because Britney hasn't been Britney-like in a long time. Like these videos that she makes on Instagram when she's twirling around are just kind of disturbing. And they're disturbing because she has a blank look in her eyes. Now, this Britney in 2002, she had a glint in her eye. She was very charming. She was a Southern belle. She was a flirty Southern belle. And that's how she was back in 2002. But I haven't seen that glint in her eye in a long time. So let's look at this. Let's say Oprah came to me and she said, Kevin, I'm sitting down with Britney Spears and I'm giving you a chance to give me a couple of questions I can ask her. And I would say, you know what, Oprah, can I call you O? You know, O? There'll be two things I would like to do. I would show her the video for Toxic, which is one of my favorite Britney songs and videos, which is from 2003 or 4, something like that. And I would ask Britney, when you see this video, what do you think of yourself? Or what do you think about this Britney at that time? And then I would show her the video for Gimme More, which is like 4 years later. And I would say, what do you see when you see this Britney? And see what she says. Because if you ask her these questions, this opens the door for her shaving her head and that breakdown. And it opens the door for the conservatorship. And even though there'll be a third question, I'm really intrigued by the conservatorship. I'm intrigued what she says about it in the book, and I'm intrigued what Oprah might ask her about the conservatorship. Because when the whole Free Britney thing was going on, I totally understand what her fans were saying. Like, Britney was under this conservatorship for a long time, and it seemed like her dad was taking advantage of her. So I understand her fans saying, like, hey, Free Britney, this doesn't make any sense. But there was always a part of me that said, like, yeah, but see, the problem was the courts kept on granting the conservatorship. It wasn't like her dad was doing this arbitrarily. Like, the courts basically saying, like, nah, there's something wrong here. You need somebody that's going to be in charge of your finances or making decisions for her, which says a lot. So then her dad was booted out, but then her sister took over taking care of her finances and things like that. And it brings up the question, the courts keep saying you need someone to take care of things for you. And my question is, why? Now, again, if it's a medical thing, it's none of our business. If she reveals this in her book, that'll be fantastic because it opens the door of saying, like, okay, something happened to her in her life where she had a breakdown, something happened, and she needed someone to stay in charge of her finances. But at this stage, it's been so many years, why is this still happening? So there's that. I'm hopeful if she does do this interview that she comes off well. But if we're getting the Britney that twirls around with a blank look in her eyes, I think people might actually feel more sad for Britney than feel good for Britney. But if she's more lucid Britney, even if she's like X Factor Britney, right? X Factor Britney was a little off, but she still felt like Britney Spears. If she's back to at least X Factor Britney, when she was guest judging when she was judging with Colin, I forget what's his name, Simon Cowell. That would be fine. At least we'd get some of that Britney Spears back, but I'm not sure what we're going to get. So from a TV standpoint, the ratings will be great. It'll probably be way higher than Harry and Meghan just because Britney doesn't do TV interviews. But from a personal standpoint, there might be more questions after this interview than answers.